Oh, we're going. Okay.
You were supposed to start.
Yeah, this is how I always start. I'm like, oh. Anyway, welcome to the Bops and Banter podcast. I'm Joe, I guess.
He sure.
I'm here with.
He's an
I'm here with my.
experience. We've been doing this is what our 15th episode. You just have it
Yeah.
down pat like that, huh?
I do. I'm also very tired right now. And it's like 80 degrees in the storm room. So, I'm gonna. Brendan, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Brendan. I'm the other host, and we have some special guests here today. Let's go in alphabetical order to make it easy.
Hi, I'm Jade, and I'm here. Thanks.
All right, that's the podcast.
Thank you for being.
Tune in.
This is really good. I'm really happy with this podcast. You guys,
Good.
It's going really well so far. Can I just get a quick gauge from all y'all? Just how does everyone feel like this is going so far? I think it's going really well. Now that I'm here, hi, welcome back. I'm Wesley. They keep saying I'm a host. I keep telling them I'm not, and here I am, back again.
You can be if you want.
Back at it like a jackrabbit. Welcome to hell.
Welcome to hell. Welcome to hell. Today we're going to be talking about an album and then a movie.
We start out with news. You went over that, right,
Yeah,
Joe,
some
when I told you
news.
to go over the podcast?
Today we're going to talk about news, an album, and a movie.
I actually did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I was prepared. I don't know why he wasn't.
He should know how this works by now.
I'd be surprised.
Bold of you to assume. I've been told very deliberately that my niche is chaos. By Brendan. That's all I'm saying.
You can make the.
I thought your
sure know
niche
how to
was like
make the show more
annoying video
organized.
games.
That's so valid. Anyways, take it away, Brendan.
Oh, Joe's the one who does the
Brendan.
news.
Anyways, take it away, Joe.
All right.
Stellar creature.
We got an update to a news story that has been going on for a while. So Megan Thee Stallion was shot several times. She was completely fine, I should say. She's like completely okay. But I guess the situation was a bit weird. The only person who was arrested was Tory Lanez for possessing a gun, and there were no other like arrests made. And now Megan Thee Stallion says that Tory Lanez shot her. So it's big.
That's bad. You shouldn't shoot someone.
Yes.
Stop.
It also Megan went over like basically what she was thinking at the time. Were basically I'll get the words. Basically Tory Lanez like shot at her, but then like cops came and she didn't want cops to know that a bunch of black people in a car and one of them has a gun. Not a good situation. So
Can I preface this by saying I almost made you guys listen to Sugar, her 2020 album. But then it was like, I don't know if anyone here could talk about it except me. So like,
Some of us would certainly be able to identify with it more, I suppose.
I'm being shit. Has anyone here been shot in the foot? She got shot in the foot, right?
Yeah. And
yes,
she's
like
totally fine.
multiple
Yeah.
When I
times.
first heard that, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
she's not walking anymore. But no, she's cool. So,
Damn,
It like the
Fucking
bullet
animal.
missed all of her bones and ligaments. Like she was really lucky.
yeah.
that's incredible. Wow.
So yeah. I guess next, SZA has spoken out a bit about her hostile, quote unquote, hostile relationship with Top Dog Entertainment record label president. basically she tweeted out a now deleted tweet that people should basically ask the president as to where her new album is. So I don't know. Seems like Top Dog Entertainment might be holding her record back.
I mean, yeah.
Sounds like we should ask them.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I got from that.
It's like I did a presentation for a class a while ago about like record labels and why they suck. But normally when they do this because the artist is like no longer profitable. But SZA is definitely still very profitable. So I assume they just don't like each other, and she signed a contract and she can't do anything about it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's also
now they can essentially make her not relevant, and she fails as an artist because she no longer is making money. So
yeah. I'm pretty sure there was also she also talked about her first record having problems with them. So yeah. Next up, WAP. The song WAP. It's the biggest streaming debut of all time.
Really? No, that's awesome. I'm so happy about that.
I'm not surprised.
No, like it really, really is. Like the furthest reaches of the universe have heard of this song. Like I've seen it pop up in the weirdest places. I just didn't realize like exactly how insane it is.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now I need to ask everyone here a question. At the same time, say what WAP stands for.
You know, like cue us.
Do we know?
We need to psychically.
Boys and girls.
Psychically.
Okay, fine. I'll count you down. All right, on the count of three.
We're not on radio anymore. We can say things.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
1, 2, 3.
Wet ass pussy.
Oh.
Oh, we love Ben Shapiro. Dude, that cover was so good. I've watched that like 6 times already. It's so fucking funny.
Oh man,
I'm such a fan. I would love for him to just release a cover of the entire just her entire discography. I would kill for it.
That would be so good.
Ben Shapiro, I know you're listening. Please.
Oh.
Yo, I would love to hear him cover Captain Hook. You know?
Brother, you're so right.
Hit that pussy with an uppercut, you know?
absolutely.
He's got it in him.
I'm trying to imagine it in his voice now, and it's just really annoying.
Well, hypothetically.
How much does doing like a voice synthesis thing cost? It's not like crazy expensive, right?
Doing a deepfake is simple. You just
Guys,
download a program for it too, or you can just create your.
please for the Twitter page. Please.
We'll check it out. How about that?
I'll take that. I'll take the mom maybe.
It would be very funny.
Right. I have not investigated this and have no real evidence, but I'm pretty certain my tweet at OJ Simpson got taken down.
Wait, did it?
I'm pretty. I couldn't remember if it was like a false memory that I made that tweet.
No, you made that.
Or I definitely did, right? But I can't find it on our Twitter page. I like
What
really,
did you
really
say to
can't.
Mr. Simpson?
Oh no, nothing. I just added him in a video where I searched for OJ Simpson on Spotify and went to accounts, and then I found one that's just full of playlists of Minecraft parodies. And I'm 100% convinced that the OJ Simpson just listens to so many Minecraft parodies. There's also another one that I considered putting on that's just like the same song, and it's like I'm pretty sure it's like a song. It's a song about something super stupid. It's just like a song about how funny farts are, and it's a playlist of that song 23 times. Like between those two as to which one I wanted to add on, man. Oh my god! Here, I'll pull up the page. Continue. I'll keep y'all updated.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
More news then.
This is the news.
this is the news time, you know. Two men were. This could go a lot of places. Two men were arrested for the 2002 killing of Run DMC's Jam Master Jay. So they finally got the people who killed him. Maybe.
Maybe that's better than nothing.
Maybe. Yeah,
We're hoping so.
it's nice to hear that after
18 years.
18 years.
Yep.
Well,
It's crazy, like what evidence could have shown up within the past 18 years? Like, aren't they being a little silent about like why they think these men are worth arresting in the case?
I'm pretty sure it was the police suspected it was related to drugs or something, or there was involvement with that. And like I don't know what's been going on with the case, so I guess let's see.
This is the part of the news segment where we actually read the news.
Yeah, probably will review the news. There's nothing in this article that's about it though, so maybe is this gonna link me to the article?
Just like from a crime perspective, I'm surprised that after 18 years they like found something arrestable, or maybe they were just arrested on a different charge and then we're like, well, now that we have you,
by the way, we're kind of pissed about this.
Yo, Run DMC was my shit. How could you? But it was just the one cop who really liked Run DMC. It was just like, wait, guys, while we're
There's gotta
here.
be more than one. There's gotta be like a band of cops who are also DMC fans. Have y'all seen? Never mind. That's so off topic. I apologize. Anyways.
That's what you do, though.
Okay, there's these T-shirts for sale that are just like wildly specific. Like it'll be like, don't fuck with a mom who's an Iron Maiden fan on a Tuesday who likes to mow the lawn. Like, and I just can't get over them. I think about them so often.
That sounds so awful. You should totally send me the link.
I will absolutely do that.
Thank you.
Of course. Please don't buy one.
I implore you not to tell me what to do. You'd be very disappointed.
Wesley, like I'm buying one. Like,
Oh
what?
my god.
Yeah.
Alright,
No, actually, we all are. Like, yours is on the way.
We're all gonna
Wesley.
get matching single mother Iron Maiden T-shirts. It's gonna be hype as hell.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be wearing it, and people are gonna be like, "Okay, cool," and then like, we're all gonna be wearing it. It's gonna be a lot. I'm excited.
It's gonna be great.
Wow. All right. And next, this is just one I thought was funny. So the Rolling Stones had threatened legal action against Trump because he used their music at rallies. And he has now replaced that with YMCA.
Oh. I don't like that. I don't like a lot of things about that.
It's very, very, like, it's very ironic. Like, what?
Yeah. It's just such a... How do I even verbalize how uncomfortable that makes me?
What
It's
makes you
such a-
uncomfortable? Is it that song?
Childish,
Is it-
like, song. It's really not something... Look, we all love YMCA. We all love... No, we don't all love... We kind of hate the YMCA. But we all love the YMCA song. I hated the
Okay.
YMCA as a child, personally. That is my personal opinion. Creed. What's our opinions on Trump using Creep? Yeah, like, just get me the most popular song. And they're like, okay. All right.
I should also mention that the who is it? The Village People have also stopped or have also asked Trump to stop like using that song. So
Good.
Or well, they've actually. I'm pretty sure what it was. They've asked him previously to stop using that song.
Oh my god.
But you know, fuck it.
But you know, oops. It's only legal issues. Whatever.
But Brendan, are you okay? What? Oh, okay.
It's so okay. Don't you worry. Yeah, we'll do.
This is okay. Next, this is like sort of music, sort of movie news. So there's a biopic about Chris Cornell called Black Days that I guess is in production. Chris Cornell's estate apparently said this is unauthorized.
Oh. Very.
Yeah. Basically, they said the film is not sanctioned or approved by the estate. No one contacted the estate for any information. So.
Uh-oh. Like, dang. What do you do about that? Like, I know they're, like, obviously, like, yeah, you can go in and, like, stop them from making the movie, but, like, or, like, releasing it at the very least, but it's like, I mean, they're kind of passionate. They care.
I mean, like,
it's a
really
music
what you
biopic.
Do, you can't make them stop the movie. What you can make them do is not use the name Chris Cornell, probably.
Oh.
Or the Soundgarden in any way.
We love Chris Cornell. Big fan.
Yeah. Same.
We're really passionate.
I'm so passionate.
My favorite.
Yes.
I'll miss him so dearly. It's Mr. Chris Cornell.
Mr. Bolognese.
All right. Finally, in music news, Cardi B has announced a waterproof line of WAP merch.
Thank God.
Fantastic. You can get raincoats. You can get umbrellas.
Are there,
Great stuff.
So
hey,
happy.
are there panties? Are there panties?
Oh,
I
that
don't know.
sounds so uncomfy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but are they there? That's just
That's all we
that is the
need.
question I am posing.
The store's up. Oh,
We
man.
demand the truth.
Sweatpants?
God, 2020 isn't all bad, guys.
Waterproof
I
sweatpants.
don't
Ooh.
know that one.
They hold the sweat, so you can drink it
That
later.
just makes me think of like
Wish I had
MC
said
Hammer
that.
pants. Like they have a
wish I had
weird
said
sheen.
that. Oh, yeah. Oof.
No. Wesley.
Mm-hmm.
They hold the sweat so you can drink it later?
What's
What?
I'm gonna play my edit that one out card. Actually, no. Keep all of this in.
Okay, I can do that.
Thanks, King.
Less work for me.
God.
Let me go on the record saying it's so you can drink it later. As Cardi B, no. Yeah, no. As Cardi B and God intended.
So proposal. You're wearing your waterproof
Better not.
sweatpants and your waterproof panties. No, you can't stop me. Just so you have options. Just so you have options.
Fear. Stricken with the fear of God. That's me. That's your boy.
No God in this scenario. I'm sorry. Just Cardi. Kendall's in the room. Or no.
Moving on.
Walking
So,
into
what's
a
everyone's
room,
opinion on
video.
Miss Anthropocene right now, as fast as possible?
Well, we still got a bunch of
We have
movie
movie
news to
news.
cover.
That's a shame. Miss Anthropocene now. Anyways, where were we, Joe?
Oh, movie news. So there's a new Robert Eggers film who directed The Lighthouse. called The Northman, and Bjork is going to be in it. She's going to be playing a major role, which is cool. She hasn't
she's acting.
done. Yeah, no, she hasn't. She was in Dancer in the Dark, in like 2002. But the director for that movie apparently did some not good things, bad things that kind of put her off from acting.
Bad things.
For a long time. So I'm really happy to see her back. It's cool, and I'm also just super excited because it's Robert Eggers. So, next, did I wait? Sofia Coppola there's a new movie coming out on Apple TV directed by her called The Rocks. Got Rashida Jones and Bill Murray. I don't know. It might be interesting. Maybe worth checking out. But you need Apple TV, so I probably won't watch it.
Oof. You can pirate it. I mean, don't do that. You wouldn't steal a car.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, like, if I could, I would. Like,
Brendan,
download a car.
Here's a fun fact for all of y'all in the audience.
Put your mind to, Joe.
One of Brendan's favorite jokes, and it makes him laugh every fucking time, is to go to someone's computer and download a picture of a car, and then title it, "You wouldn't download a car." And every time he does that, like, it definitely happened once. I just assumed this was something that happened frequently because you were so ecstatic and also practiced. I walk into the room and Brendan's cracking the fuck up. I'm like, literally, what happens? And he's like, check your downloads. And I'm like, oh my god. Check the downloads, and I see the image, and I look at him, and he's like fucking dying. He can barely get the words out, and he just goes, "You wouldn't download a car, would you?" And that just fucking collapses.
Yeah.
Because Brendan is a comedic genius, and this isn't a joke. That's fucking funny.
I have my moments.
I think about this every day. I think about this so fucking often. This was like 3 years ago.
I didn't even remember that. And then you brought it.
It's so important to me.
Are you haunted by the possibility of getting arrested for downloading that fucking car?
Yeah, that's why I'm tired. That's why I'm airing my guilt on this podcast.
Yeah, they're coming for you right now.
Shit. I knew I shouldn't have trusted her.
I'm just a rat. Surprise, guys. Long con.
I mean, I know, but I didn't think you were a narc.
You should have known. I made you watch Suspiria. I made you listen to a Grimes album. You should have known.
It was a long. The last 24 hours have been so long. The last 24 hours have been so long. I watched Suspiria and listened to Miss Anthropocene in the last 24 hours, and it's just been like long, and I'm tired.
Wow. It's a whole 3 hours of the last 24 hours right there.
Wow, your life must have really
It's
sucked.
so long.
It must suck to not have like
I
a
listened
long
to the
amount of
deluxe
time.
version of that album too.
Oh, you didn't.
Literally, you were told not to.
Are we gonna talk about? We're not talking about the
deluxe version. We only need to talk about "We Appreciate Power," which is just the best Grimes track ever, and nothing else.
Can this be a two-part episode where we talk about Miss Anthropocene and then we talk about We Appreciate Power?
I'm down.
Yeah.
Honestly, let's just talk about
Awesome.
Miss Anthropocene, but still talk about We Appreciate Power, because we do. In this household,
do
we
appreciate
appreciate her power.
Yes, absolutely. All hail.
Yeah. Deal. I was so sad I didn't realize it was only on the deluxe edition. I was just like, well, damn.
Yeah. Grimes.
What's the point?
With this album that we will talk about later, I suppose.
Yes. All right. More news. There's a bunch of like random DC stuff that came out. today. There's a teaser trailer for the James Gunn The Suicide Squad. Came out. I didn't actually watch it, but it's there. There's a Justice League director, Zack Snyder cut teaser trailer. And where is it? We got a new trailer for the Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves directed Batman. So, a bunch of random DC stuff. Next, they're remaking The Thing. They're rebooting The Thing again.
Which thing, dude?
Oh, I was really like, oh my god, The Thing. What could he be talking
I'm
about?
such a big fan.
The movie.
Oh, I love that one.
Thing, yeah.
Wait,
The Thing.
I understand now.
Actually, The Thing.
I thought Joe was just inept. I misunderstood.
I love The Thing. It's one of my few favorite things.
Was being rebooted again. John Carpenter is supposed to be involved. It's produced by Blumhouse.
Oh, wait a minute. What?
These are very conflicting.
That's so fascinating. Yeah, no, agree. What are your thoughts on that? I want to know. I want to talk about that for a second. That's a lot.
So I guess John Carpenter being involved most likely means he's just doing the soundtrack. That was the same thing for the Halloween reboot.
Okay.
Was he just did the soundtrack, or I don't even. Was there a reboot? It was called Halloween again, but it was like a sequel.
Yeah, it was like
only to the first one.
Sort of counted as a reboot.
And that movie.
It was like. Oh, it was like older Jamie Lee Curtis, like fighting him again. Like,
yeah.
canonically, it was like 20 years in the future or whatever.
Yeah. I haven't seen the Halloween reboot. Most of what I've heard is that it was okay. So this doesn't bring me much hope, especially considering the previous Thing reboot from 2011 that is terrible.
May I ask a potentially obvious question?
Sure.
When we're talking about The Thing, is this in reference to the Fantastic Four character?
What? No.
The 1981 movie?
1980, right?
I was so confused as to why Blumhouse would be directing that sort of movie.
It's a horror movie. It's like a classic horror movie.
So it's like The Thing, not like The Thing.
Yeah.
No, like
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Thing is a monster that can turn into people or like look like people and then starts killing people in like Antarctica. The Arctic.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I do know this. Somewhere cool.
Yeah, throwback. Canada, probably. I don't know.
What if The Thing just took place in like downtown Montreal? Way less threatening and way more hijinks.
Literally would never get caught. It would just be like, wow, all these Canadians.
It's like the Predator sequel. Like Predator 2 takes place in Los Angeles.
In the next Bop Stop episode, can we watch Jason Takes Manhattan?
Wait, if we
consider it,
Jason.
let's go with that.
Okay. Thanks, Mom.
All right. Olivia Wilde. Or Wilde? I don't know how the fuck you pronounce her last name.
Wild.
Wilde. She is maybe directing a Spider-Woman movie for Sony. Maybe. She's directing, I believe, a superhero movie or a secret Marvel project for Sony. And most people think it's going to be Spider-Woman. So, cool.
Exciting.
It's Sony though, so.
We'll see.
Yeah. Next, there's The Exorcist is being rebooted.
Cool.
Yay!
I worry.
Everything will be remade eventually. Don't worry.
I mean, you're
It
right.
was so good, as we're going to talk about with the Suspiria remake today. Ooh. Wow.
Now I kind of wish I had seen the original Suspiria. No, you know what? I don't wish that.
No, we could talk about why you
I'm-
might or might not wish that.
Yeah,
We'll
we
watch
can talk about
sometime.
OG Suspiria.
We can talk about-
It's different from the new Suspiria.
It's
It
basically
could not be more
polar
different.
opposite. Yes. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it for movie news. There's like a Sherlock Holmes movie coming to Netflix, but it's Sherlock Holmes' younger sister, Enola Holmes.
Is not Robert Downey Jr., so I don't care.
That's kind of fair if I'm being honest.
If Robert Downey Jr. played Sherlock Holmes' younger sister, would you
Yes.
be inclined? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
That'd be very weird because wouldn't he play Sherlock Holmes too though?
Yes, it'd be like Jack and Jill. It'd be really good.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
For those out in the audience, Brendan looks. I can only describe it as afraid.
I'm always afraid.
He's. Oh,
That's my secret.
that's my secret. I knew it was coming. I was like, who's gonna say it first?
That's my secret, Tony. You're Sherlock Holmes, and I'm always afraid.
I've always been Sherlock Holmes.
Wait, it's all Sherlock? Always.
Okay. Moving on, we are getting into our review of Miss Anthropocene by Grimes.
Is that how you pronounce it? Oh, sorry.
yeah.
I call it
think it's-
Anthropocene. You can.
I think it's Anthropocene.
I don't know.
It's Anthropocene. I googled it because I didn't know.
Anthropocene.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
Well, Anthropocene's a real word, so
I'm sure it is.
Probably.
I've never used it, but go right ahead. Jade, this was your pick. If you want to talk a little bit about why you were inclined to choose this album, we'd love to hear it.
yeah. So I like Grimes. She's one of my favorite batshit people in this world. I admire her so dearly, and I say batshit with love, truly. But also, well, she's been in the news a lot lately due to this thing she did with this one man you might have heard, and then the thing she made with that man, and then what she called it and what she didn't call it. All of that kind of put her out there in a really weird way. But also, I was like so excited for this album to come out, and then it did, and I found it just really interesting in context of everything she's done before, and also just like in the world we're in right now. She made a lot of really interesting moves, but I don't know. I just like was really interested in it, and I felt like it was strange enough to talk about, as like a lot of her stuff is, because she's a cool weirdo.
She's like kind of a crackhead, so.
I'm so
Not like
glad
actually, but like
you say that.
Well, didn't she literally used to live in a crack house, right?
What?
I didn't know
She
that.
literally did.
I didn't know that either.
Pretty sure she did.
Yo, Canada's fucking crazy, man. I think
Okay, Google.
Canada.
Canada doesn't have drugs.
No, only me.
Eat maple syrup.
And lie.
And lie.
Like one thing I love about Grimes is like, you know how there's like those musicians where they're like, oh, this is part of the act. Am I frozen? That'd be so funny.
We can. Still
think I am.
Your video is a bit choppy.
Cool. I wish I could show you guys what's going on my screen. But anyway, like Grimes is like interesting because like she's not one of those musicians where she's faking it. Truly, like she'll like do something wacky on her album and it'll be like, haha, okay. Then you like go on her Twitter and you're like, oh no, she's just like this. she has not changed a bit when she becomes an artist. She just is this person.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, we used to say this, Grimes' whole, like, POV is that she is an alien from outer space, and just, like, ended up on Earth, and she now makes music and dates Elon Musk, I guess, who is also maybe an alien, let's be honest. So yeah, that's Grimes. Oh boy. Where do you want to start with this album?
Okay, I want to start. I have a start. I have so many words about this. Now, I am not coming at this from the perspective of someone who consumes a whole lot of music very intensely or intentionally, or really any form of media very intensely or intentionally, aside from video games, where I am a game designer, as I've mentioned time and time again.
Nerd. Continue.
You're correct. But it gives me some particular insight that I wish Grimes could have had during the creation of this album. And that is, yes, it is okay to make super artsy, out there, wild, interesting shit that is so fucking beyond the understanding of any other human being on this earth besides the person who made it. Miss Anthropocene. But you, as the creator, I believe personally, have an obligation to at least make that insane out there art intriguing, or at least in the beginning of that work, make some when you put something out like that, you promise to the viewer that it will have some value to them, that it will at the very least be interesting and not very, very, very boring.
Okay, you just went and dug into this album. I was gonna start out slow. I was be like, "Hey,
No,
this track is good," but then
I walked around for an hour listening to this, and I was so unhappy. It was a beautiful day outside. I just moved into a brand new apartment. I'm in a brand new town, and I was just not having it. I was just not having it today. Don't get me wrong. The other perspective I come at this from is a massive fucking fan of Grimes. I adore Art Angels, and I love the best part of Miss Anthropocene, the deluxe version, and that is We Appreciate Power, because we appreciate the fuck out of that power, Grimes. But, oof. Here's the thing. It's okay to create an album or any piece of work that has meaning hidden very deep within it. That it's just like very buried or even like at the surface level. But you have to give me a reason to be fucked to find that meaning, to look that layer deeper. It's a fundamental principle of design. And I know that we're not all designers here. Grimes clearly is not like the most conscientious individual on this planet of what other people think of her, and for that I adore her. But whenever you make something and you put it out and try to get other people to enjoy it, you make a promise to that person that there's a reason they should do so.
This project is like really weird to me because I can't tell if Grimes was trying or not, honestly, because like
that's a great way to put it.
I agree.
She had troubles with her label, so I'm like, maybe this was just like her label needed her 5th album on 4AD, and the label just needed 5 albums, and that was the contract, and she just wanted to get it out there and be done with it. This album had been in progress for like 4 years though, and that's I don't really.
It's a long time.
Songs here, like I really feel like she was trying on some of these songs, but because like We Appreciate Power, that track was meant to be on this album. And she was obviously trying there. But then it didn't appear on this album, and there's so many like things that I don't know about the making of this album that I wish I did, because I feel like it would make more sense as to why it's kind of garbage.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. 100% agree. It left me confused and wanting answers. And that's not something I should say about, like, something that people do for fun in their spare time, like listening to music.
I definitely So okay, I agree with that in that I like listened to this and it was just like interesting. Okay, cool. And then I didn't get a single like. All right, I came at it from like narrative because she always has something going on there, even if it's not like a story. She's like trying to do something. Like she makes these pantheons of like gods that sing her music. I still don't exactly know how that one works, but just like with Art Angels, it was the Art Angels were like these like muses almost for like all the art she's making.
Right.
So then I was like, all right, let's figure out what's going on with this one. And the more I saw, the more I was like, why? What's going on though?
So reading from Wikipedia's little blurb about this album, it says Grimes explained that the album will be a concept album about an anthropomorphic goddess of climate change in which each song will be a different embodiment of human extinction. I don't think that I'm not sure if that's sustained. That was in March 2019. This album came out in February 2020. So I can't say I really see that a lot in this album.
Wait.
If you gave me 10 years to analyze this album, I would never reach that conclusion.
Okay, here's the shit. So I was like, okay. So I picked, all right, I got that much from the album in the listen. And part of that was I was like, the title of the album makes sense. Anthropocene refers to the earth, like, okay, like, it just, like, she loves wordplay, so, like, except she only kind of loves wordplay. She uses it, like, once or twice an album, then leaves. But, like, she does it in the title, then goes away. No, actually, this is the first time she did that. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, but like, yeah, she looked up a word. Good for her. But like, then so I was like, okay, that makes sense. That like, I adore you makes sense because of that. So heavy I fell through the earth makes sense because of that. Then I was like, what about violence? And then I found on their website that violence is from the perspective of the goddess of gaming, like video games.
Yo.
And I was like, first of all, wow, very, very. I mean, she is. If you ever just want something that will like hurt you a little bit, there's an article written by a guy who doesn't play Overwatch and doesn't listen to Grimes about what Overwatch character she'd be. And that's so not worth reading.
Oh my god!
My opinion on this album completely. I have to give it my highest rating, an 11 out of 10. Grimes is a gamer.
Is Grimes trying to establish herself as a gamer goddess? Is that what I'm getting?
Okay.
Is the gamer?
Yeah, you guys missed the big point, which was she made it a goddess. Ergo, Grimes is a feminist, so we're working with feminist literature here.
They're like all of Grimes' like characters are goddesses, pretty much. I mean, she creates gods, but like I think most of her songs are from the perspective of goddesses or other things that are girls, I guess, and mythical or alien or something. You know,
some space.
Yeah. Well, I can't tell if that's simply because she likes to be the embodiment of these things, you know? But yeah.
Can we make a small amount of time for a 60-second aside?
Go right ahead.
A while ago, Elon Musk made a tweet, and that tweet said the pyramids were definitely built by aliens. That's just what it said. Elon Musk.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that I think Grimes has been whispering sweet nothings into this man's ear for a little bit too long.
Okay, that is where I draw the line, because I want it to be very established that Grimes did not make Elon Musk crazy. Elon Musk...
No, don't get me wrong. Elon Musk has always been a fucking rat crackhead. But I just love to see the flavor of Grimes seeping into his just insanity.
No,
I like to see the bleed over. It's beautiful to watch. That is a more incredible piece of abstract art than this album.
Yes. Like, okay, Grimes' Twitter is like truly belongs in a museum, Indiana Jones style. But
oh my god, all the fonts.
He tweeted at Elon to get off Twitter because he was saying inappropriate things. And so he deleted his tweets and got off Twitter for a day. So, objectively, maybe she's good for him. Maybe she's going to keep him from actually destroying the universe.
I hope so. If anyone can do it, it's her.
Oh yes, absolutely.
He just wants to build a space station.
I think that's it. I think Elon Musk really just wants to do his shit and like.
What he actually wants is he really wants to just colonize Mars. Like,
Yeah.
everything he's been doing, because like you can look at his companies and he treats SpaceX way differently than like Tesla, or anything like that. He gives them a lot more preference and like actually wants them to colonize Mars, or like
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair.
or space tourism. You know, one of those things, and he's working towards it. So, good job, I guess, Elon. Tesla's a good company. Like, he's made good companies.
Yeah.
He's just a bad person.
Oh, 100%. If you just want to like be critical of him, look up the op-ed that his last wife wrote. It's insane.
Lord. That's
She's just like, he wanted a baby maker and he got one, I guess. Anyway, now I have 4 kids he doesn't care about. It's so insane. So, thank you, Claire, for maybe being the best thing happening with Elon right now.
Perhaps.
I'm so worried about Grimes. I hope she does okay. I hope everything works out for her.
You know,
remember in 2018 where we thought she was dating him simply so she could record an album in space?
Those were such good times.
They sure were.
Things were so much simpler back then.
and then they had a kid.
Everything was beautiful and nothing hurt.
Agreed.
Joe, you haven't spoken much about Miss Anthropocene. You want to talk?
I don't know. You guys were kind of like going in on it.
You're gonna be
I was just like,
Joe fucking loves this album. Surprise, surprise.
no, I don't love this album. I mean, but like, I don't know. There's some decent tracks on here. I like So Heavy I Fell Through the Earth.
I agree.
It's nice and atmospheric. And like, I don't know. My Name is Dark, I think, is also really good. Like, it's pretty catchy.
I don't.
Good.
I'm gonna talk about this because this appears on My Name is Dark and appears on another song as well, Delete Forever. Grimes pulls some influence from like indie rock and like indie folk at places on this album, and it's like subtle. It's not overbearing by any means. But when she does that, I just find it really clashes with her style, and it's like not appealing in any way.
Delete Forever isn't really like indie rock. It's like a country song. That's
if you go on the YouTube video, everything is just like, but why did this bitch release a country song? Which I disagree with that. I think it's a Grimes song that was played on the guitar. You know,
which
it still felt so Grimesy. It was just like acoustic.
I think you're both right. I can kind of get behind both of these perspectives. I think that I really enjoyed that track. I enjoyed the sound of that track.
Okay.
I don't think it was, and I'm kind of with Jade. It felt very Grimesy, but on a guitar. And like, why the fuck did she release a country song? But yeah, on this album, what are you doing there, buddy? You don't belong.
Yeah.
It was just so out of left field, and like, it was early on, so I was like, oh, maybe there'll be more of this. Maybe this is like a theme that we're trying to build or something. And no, it was just like, that's what Grimes felt like doing that week.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that. But yeah, the whole, like, the guitars feel out of place. And really kind of clash with her more like industrial and spacey sound, I think.
Alien, perhaps.
What was the other song you said? Pull from indie rock, because I'm curious about that.
So
he said My Name is Dark.
And My Name is Dark. I find it. Those are 2 songs with guitars. There might be others, but they're less pronounced.
Yeah, I agree with Joe in that I actually liked a couple of the tracks on this album. But as an album, I felt like there was no cohesion. And so listening to it as an album is just like whiplashy. I think the most whiplashy part for me is Before the Fever, strange song, but it is in Grimes' territory, so I'll like allot it. But I think as a song, it just wasn't interesting. But then the song fades out and it gets like very quiet, and then the first note of "I Adore You" plays, or "Adore You," and literally, I think something was wrong with the sound mixing there. Like it's. They're like, if anyone else noticed that, like every time I listen to this album, like I just turned down my volume. I don't know why they did that.
One big problem I have with this album is that like there is just bad mixing at some points on this album. Like the transition from Before the Fever to I Adore You, I think is a bit much. The drums on 4 a.m. and Violence are mixed like just a bit too loud, I think. They're just like kind of, they're not like super overbearing, but they're kind of, oh no, we are having technical difficulties. Wow. I'm just gonna continue my point, and maybe everything will be okay. I don't think the other people can hear me though. But the drums on 4 a.m. and Violence, just kind of overbearing, and it's very odd. Okay, are we back?
We lost 2 of them.
No, okay. I didn't know how to tell you to shut up, but I was like, wait, well, if he's
no, so we're
having errors, I'm gonna try to fix my stuff.
My point. You guys can talk about whatever.
What was your point?
Oh, the jam.
I see a flaw in your plan.
The mixing is bad at points on this album.
Oh,
all right.
Which is really weird for a Grimes project, considering like Visions and Art Angels are like pretty solid.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just found that at points it was just like some of these songs felt rushed, and the mix was just like simple things in the mix were just off, which was like annoying to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody else want to talk about like? Okay, I don't think this album is like terrible by any means. I should say that. I'm kind of shitting on it right now. This album's not terrible. There are like a couple decent tracks, but for the most part, it is just disappointing, I guess. Like nothing is like violently bad. It's just a lot of not good, not really good stuff.
We're not angry. We're just disappointed.
Yes.
Wait, is no one else gonna mention?
No, she can do better.
What?
Is no one else gonna mention Dark Side and how terrible that song is?
I
really
like Dark Side.
I really like Dark Side actually. That's one of the only times I was having fun.
Okay.
I think it's easily the worst song on the album by
I'm gonna
like
listen to Dark Side again right now.
That's very interesting.
By a landslide.
Okay, I'm curious to know. I don't know how you say this woman's like name, but it's Pan. It looks like Pan. Okay, awesome. I don't, but I don't even know. I'm gonna be real. I don't know what language she raps in. I just know I really love the sound of her voice. But I'm curious to know if you've listened to other songs they've done together and if you like those. One is like Go. If you've listened to that one.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've listened to Grimes, so.
Okay.
I've listened to Pan's album, Humans Become Machines, which has some songs here. I think was actually executive produced by Grimes, and I think this album is actually, it's not bad. It's like solid. It's decent. There's this one song with Kai Weston on it, which is pretty solid. So I don't know why Kai Weston.
All right, Brendan.
This is 2017 Kai Weston too, not the new shit. So, but yeah, I don't mind Pan. She has like her certain. She's kind of like fast paced with her rapping, but I don't think she's bad by any means.
Okay, like my problem is she's super fast paced, but she's pitch shifted.
Oh,
she's constantly pitch shifted throughout the track, and it sounds like shit.
Yes.
I can't stand it. And more so, the track doesn't have anything to like. There's nothing else on the track. It's just like a bass line, basically.
Okay.
so it's just the like vocals that I find really annoying because of how they're produced and a bass line, and that's kind of it.
That is totally fair.
Yeah, I think.
The way she talks a lot, I'm a big fan.
Can we talk about some of the lyrics on the album? Just a little
Not
bit.
the ones in Dark Side.
Okay.
Lyrics.
So here's I love Grimes. Did we know? We know. One thing I like about Grimes is that in being an outlandish person, she draws some really interesting she just she consistently remains unique, and that should be allotted in some ways. But even though Wesley had a point on if you're going to make wackadoodle art, you kind of need to be cognizant of still making it enjoyable. But she's always unique. I was really at first I was really disappointed in lyrically what she had going on this album, because a lot of it actually wasn't that interesting. A lot of the metaphor and word choice she used was very simple and very easy to spot. These just common symbols that we see in anything. And My Name is Dark, now I wish I had them in front of me, so I am looking them up. But she comparing destruction to fire, that's something you can see and hear pretty commonly. Yeah, this is you know me as the girl who plays with fire. It's that's a really common phrase, and that's a really that's a pretty typical thought. And so I was really surprised that that seemed pretty consistent on the album. And then I Googled the lyrics, and I was able to figure out some of the things that I can never understand what she's saying, because she does that. And I can't understand her voice a third of the time. And in the things that she mixed to the point where I couldn't understand what she was saying, she had some kind of interesting ideas, but still it just lacked just that intrigue, that kind of just so unusual, it seems alien kind of ideas. These are just really common thought processes. Even I adore you, I keep calling it I adore you. It's it's really interesting, and I think musically there's a lot going on. But then the lyrics are just very love song. 100%. It's a love song, and not a surprising love song. So I was really kind of disappointed in that, because in the past she's done things that interested me more. Even though she's never put too much stock in her lyrics, I just thought this lacked a bit more than usual.
Yeah. This is one of the things that makes me think that this album there wasn't a lot of effort put into this album, because the lyrical content is just so underwhelming. Songs like I Adore You and 4 a.m., which are more lovey-dovey, is it's not what I would expect from Grimes, I guess, in the first place. But it's just not good. She's not good at writing. Yeah. There's also there's 5 writers on 4 a.m. and it's garbage. So
Okay, I can't believe you just said those words, because my kind of contribution to this portion was I'm with you, Jade. I struggle to understand the lyrics of Grimes very frequently, just due to the mixing, and that is something that does frustrate me when artists do that to a degree. But that's a debate for another time on how we feel about that. But I definitively remember the moment I clocked out with this album. Was in 4 a.m. when it was probably the 18th time I was thinking about something, and I tuned back into the song, and I was like, oh, she's still just saying 4 a.m. again. It had it just over and over and over, and I was I was just I tuned back out. I was like, you know what? No, it's all right. I got it.
Good thing you didn't tune into the point where it's la 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 la.
Motherfucker, what's going on?
Really quick, I want to ask if you guys saw her debut this song at the Game Awards. Did anyone see that?
Wait, did she? Oh
yes,
my god.
Yes, ma'am, she did.
Oh my god. I did see that, as a matter of fact. I think I was too excited to see Grimes, though. And I was laughing really hard at Elon Musk.
Oh yeah, at the end the camera just cuts to Elon and he's just like
It's so funny.
But I love 4 a.m. Before this album came out, I had this on repeat.
Really?
Yes, I love this song. But lyrically, it 100% is like I don't know, just strange. And also, I can't help but feel like the man she's talking about in this album is Elon Musk, and that kind of ruins it for me. You guys also like think about that a little bit, like
so much.
Why does Elon keep asking you how's the weather, baby, and how have you been? Like, I just need to know. Like,
the only things that he ever says to her. Like you wake up, like, how are you? Oh, how's the weather today? Oh, that's nice. All right, I gotta go.
At 4 a.m., he's like, hey, how's the weather outside? How are you? Also, you're gonna get sick. You don't know when, but it's gonna happen. Anyway, no, you know.
All right. We should start wrapping up here. So, people have any closing things they want to get in real quick?
Oh, all right. I gotta say, I'm disappointed. This album does not share anything stylistically with the Anthropocene Extinction by Cattle Decapitation. Very disappointed.
Why is
what a letdown.
Inspiration from Cattle Decapitation? Come on.
Truly.
I'm very disappointed.
All right.
We were all hoping for it.
We really were.
Yeah.
I kind of was. It's a good ass album.
What if Grimes came out with a collaborative album with Daughters? Like,
I'd lose my shit, bro. That would be the best day of my life.
so
No thank
You heard it here.
Wait, with daughter?
Daughters.
Daughters.
More than one. Oh my god, I'm gonna show you Daughters and we're gonna have such a bad time. We're gonna be so unhappy.
Oh, okay. Daughter and Daughters are two different artists.
Two different bands, yeah.
I was just like,
Yes.
I was like, Daughter's sweet. I don't think they'd get along. Youth, but just with Grimes. Yeah, no.
Sorry. Jade, this is completely off topic, but do you know Death Grips?
Death Grips?
Damn it. That sounds like a...
No, I have.
I don't think I do.
I do
Here.
every time.
Okay, well, Wesley's gonna have another bad night with you, I guess. Her daughters want Death Grips.
I showed her clipping, if that counts.
Oh, clipping's great, though.
Alright, yeah. Hype.
What genre are they?
Bad.
Okay.
Wait, whoa, Wesley.
No, I'm kidding. I love Death Grips to death. I actually, if it says anything about how much I adore my roommate, I have not shown Jay Death Grips, but I have shown Jake Death Grips. This morning, actually. I woke up at 7 a.m., opened my door, he was in the kitchen getting cereal, and I was like, we're listening to Death Grips today. He's like, what's Death Grips? I was like, oh, you poor soul. You poor fucking soul. The powers that be came on, and he was like, I don't like this, and I was like, I know.
Don't torture that sweet boy. He's just trying to eat his
He actually, he started getting down with it after a while. He was having a good time.
That's how.
Yeah, no, once you settle in.
The Powers That Be is the worst album to start with.
That's why you have to, because then everything else after that, they're like, all right, maybe this isn't so bad. You should start with the Powers That Be.
Musician, maybe you should just get better taste. I don't know what to tell you.
You'll understand. They always do.
I gotta start showing everybody 100 gecs. Oh man.
Literally, send me music
I'm
whenever.
imploring you.
You can do that to me. I would love it. Anyway,
Noted.
and I will keep sending you Grimes songs until you love them like I do.
Love you.
Whatever. Anyway.
But yeah, I'll just wrap up first because I've kind of been shitting on this album. But this album is not good. It's not like terrible. Grimes was doing something, I guess. She may or may not have tried, and good for her. Critics love this album, I guess, so...
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Let's see here. Pitchfork gave it an 8.2 for reference.
Pitchfork just gives Grimes good scores anyway.
That's also true.
That's Pitchfork just gives good scores to artists that they like.
Yeah. The Metacritic is 79 though.
Oh.
That's quite a bit, but I don't know. I'm not a fan. So I'm at like a 4 out of 10. This album really just disappointing. Cool.
All right. I think I went into this being very angry, and I'm gonna continue that trend, to be perfectly honest. So take that with a grain of salt. I think a lot of people here made some good points about the merits of this album. Like it is still it has its moments. There are like little tiny gems, but what a dog shit overall experience. And I know that Grimes can do better, and that's why I'm so disappointed. And I haven't made a whole lot of like very meaningful or analytical commentary, and it's because I am so fucking disappointed. And I also, just to continue my soapbox rant, I think all of this is Elon Musk's fault. I'm gonna be real. I think if she was on her own, this would be a way better album.
Artists do better when they don't have a like loving significant other. Can we talk? Yeah. No, let's not. But like, putting that to the world.
Something coloring book. I love you, Joe.
He loves his wife so much. His music is shit.
Oh my god! No one say the thing. I swear to God, no one say the thing.
I really hope we're not thinking the same thing.
We're all thinking that the same thing. We know. We just don't say it.
Understood. Should I go now or should I go last on this, since I was the one who brought Miss Anthropocene to the table?
Wesley was rapping. Wesley, you want to give a score or not?
I think 3.
Okay.
Oh wait, can I do a thing? I'm feeling a light 3 on this one.
Oh fuck.
You fucking losers. You fucking simps. Oh my god.
Stop.
Jade, let's hear it.
Alrighty. So, Grimes, my batshit wife. If Elon ever doesn't work out, please call me. I love you already. I adore you. Haha. But so I decided the way I should judge this album, given that I am in love with her, is to literally, there's 10 songs on this album. What if I count the ones that I think are good? And maybe albums shouldn't work like that, but I think since there's so little cohesion here, that's an okay thing to do. And I officially like 5 of the songs on this album, like enough to grade. So that'd be a 5 out of 10. However, I want to give it a 6 out of 10 because there's a big point here that we haven't talked about. That's a possibility. Yes, this album was in development for 4 years. She was giving birth to a baby alien for one of them. And I think that should be put on the table, that she was literally like pregnant while finishing this up at the very least, or at least making the music videos for it. I'm a big music video person. If you watch them, she's pregnant for most of them. So she has been working through an actual pregnancy. And I almost want to give her credit for that, if nothing else, but also because no matter what happened on this album, I think there was still just some good sound anyway. Some Grimes is still there. I'm curious to see if she continues to do stuff and what that might look like. So 6 out of 10.
All right. Very good point. Carrying a child is like very difficult. So,
especially when it's the child of Elon Musk, y'all. Like,
it's quite the burden. That's Atlas. Atlas is all I'll say.
And Miss Anthropocene came out of that truck.
Yeah. Moving on from Elon Musk's.
Whoa, wait.
What?
I never got to rap. I never got to give a score or anything.
Joe.
Oh, you're moving on to me? What?
Yeah, why you gotta be so upset?
Oh, you said moving on from, like, their child, and I was...
Yes, I don't want to be talking about
okay.
Child. It's Elon Musk.
You said moving on, and I was instantly like, oh, he's moving on to the movie. And I'm like, no. I need to say that I think this album was fine, or maybe a little bit below average. I don't really have many thoughts on it, I guess. just very inconsistent. There will be songs where there's like I guess 4 a.m. I really like the hook on 4 a.m. The verses, I don't know what was going on. I don't know why she was doing that.
Someone help.
And that's like most of the album for me. It's like a song will have one like catchy or interesting aspect, and then it will have another that's just like what are you doing? I don't understand. So yeah, 4 to 5, that area. Maybe a bit more towards a 5. I don't know.
All right. I like it. We're pretty well grouped right there. So, Grimes, I'm sorry, you made a bad album.
You fucked up.
At best, decent.
Grimes, I've forgiven you. I still pray to you at night.
Watch out, Grimes. You still got at least 3 people after you.
I'm there for you, Grimes. I'll hold them back.
Anyways, Suspiria. I didn't know how to transition from Grimes to Suspiria.
Do you know what else is literally insane? Is Suspiria 2018.
Okay.
Oh, do you want?
Jade did not tell me anything about this movie before I watched it.
That's amazing. I'm so happy you didn't.
I want to say I said one thing to Leslie, and that one thing was, I don't know if you're gonna like it, but I really like this movie. And then I made you watch it.
No. There was one other thing. You said, "I hope that you're not too upset when you finish watching this."
Oh yes, I did say that.
Wait. Whoa.
Like this. It's got witches, and you're.
I loved it. But for the first 30 minutes, I thought it was gonna be this depressing psychological drama about this old dying lady who's she has dementia or something, and her kids are still trying to communicate with her, and it's what is left of people when they go insane. I said this out loud to Jade in the middle of watching it.
I literally want to talk about your because the things you said during watching this movie were really insightful to me and funny, and I think kind of interesting. But yeah, we can get that.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad I'm interesting.
Wait, Wesley, since you knew nothing about this movie, which was your favorite Tilda Swinton performance in the movie?
The one where I ask where Tilda Swinton is. Who Tilda Swinton is?
You don't know who Tilda Swinton is?
No, Tilda.
Yeah.
Swinton is
no. Okay. I tried to drop that bomb on him, and I was like, "That's Tilda Swinton," and he was like, "Who?"
I still don't remember. You told me, and is she the 50 Shades of Grey lady?
That's the kind of no.
She's
I'm sorry.
Strange.
It's okay.
Oh yeah.
She's the ancient one.
Who's the ancient one?
Fuck.
She's like the.
I'm looking her up. Fuck it. Leave me alone. Okay. I don't watch movies.
She's a really good actress.
She's really good. In this movie she plays Madame Blanc. She plays the.
She was really good.
And she plays Angela Marcos.
Wait, she plays
all of
3 different.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
I told
the man.
Wesley.
Yeah.
Madame Blanc.
You told me that the doctor was a woman. You did not elaborate.
I was like, yeah. I told you I would give you money if you could figure out who the psychologist was, and you're like, I'm not going to. So I was like, it's Tilda Swinton, a woman, and you were like, cool.
I didn't.
Yeah. I didn't. I still. Now I'm just now learning that the cool witch lady is Tilda Swinton.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 You can't expect me to know actors' names. I don't do this.
Whoa, wait, which cool witch lady?
For fuck's sake, the Madame Blanc.
Okay.
None of the other ones were cool. They were evil and shit.
All right,
Dakota Johnson.
Dakota's cool, but she's not a witch until the end.
May I give a rundown of some shit real quick, because there's so much. All right. Hey listeners, hey guys. So this movie, Suspiria 2018, is starring Dakota Johnson. You might know Dakota Johnson from 50 Shades of Grey, and we can talk about that in a second. The interesting thing that this movie did is the role of the psychologist, whose name I can't remember, but the doctor, Yosef. He was played by a woman. That woman is Tilda Swinton, who is really good and an amazing actress. She also played the roles of Madame Blanc, Madame Blanc, who was the really strict dance academy teacher that like sort of was erotically involved with our main character Susie, and Miss Marcos, who was the head of the academy. You saw her in the final scene wearing dark glasses and being an absolute frog. Also, Chloe Grace Moretz shows up, looks adorable, and vanishes from the movie until we find out what happened to her character. So thank you for doing that, Chloe, my sweet, sweet Chloe. Yes.
Okay. Do we want to talk about the original Suspiria for a little bit?
I can real quick, I guess. We can real quick. I guess Wesley hasn't seen it. Jade, have you seen it?
Yes, I have, and yes, I have.
Okay. So I'm gonna original Suspiria is like 1977 horror thriller movie. Has this really great first murder, like 5 minutes in, and then is boring for like an hour. That's my opinion.
I disagree. I enjoy the first Suspiria. I don't think it's like great or anything, but it's like so like, which is like weird and over the top. The guy with the dog.
Oh, I love Daniel. And then they kill Daniel. I was like, oh no, they're killing.
No, it's so funny though because he just really like gets into a shouting match.
Yes.
With like the main witch because his dog bit someone.
His dog bit the witch.
They're like, it's definitely. I think it's what I love about the original Suspiria is just how visually striking it is and how it uses color in such an interesting way.
It uses greens and reds, so you got that contrast.
Yeah, and like I like a lot of aspects about it. I think it's a very fun, enjoyable movie. It has a lot of boring plot that is not interesting. It's basically just exposition, a lot of it. There's like an entire like 5-minute scene where some guys like, all right, so yeah, there's witches and they do like this stuff. And there's it's also really weird because like it's kind of set up as like a murder mystery or like what's going on at this academy, but like the main song, which I really like the music in the original Suspiria, but the main song,
it's so good. I love it.
It's just like witch, like too many.
Yeah, it just says witch, so you're like, oh, they're witches. Like I get it.
Yeah. I should preface this because we're talking about like horror movies. I'm not a horror movies guy. They just like don't interest me. I get bored. Like the OG Suspiria is an hour and a half, and I got very bored during it. So sorry.
It's so out there. I don't.
So. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Or well, I guess. Like something that I wanted the original Suspiria to do, is done very well in this movie, which is there's certain like deaths in the original Suspiria that I wish were way more disturbing, but they're kind of just comedic. Like the girl falls into. Good. It's amazing.
It's so funny.
Which Wesley, we should explain this to you. Basically, a girl gets stabbed like 20 times and then once in the heart, but she's on top of like this glass,
like stained glass skylight.
Skylight, yeah. Right. And her friend is like freaking out because her this girl is being murdered. She's like running. She runs downstairs, and the killer like. There's like a rope at some point, I guess, that happens.
So he ties a cable around her neck in a noose.
and then she falls onto the skylight.
She falls onto the skylight.
She falls onto it, and then it cracks, and she falls through it, and rope uncoils. She hangs.
And her friend has this piece of glass.
Yeah, and then the camera pans, and her There's a glass shard
I love
through
the scenes where she gets stabbed because the killer just like is like super quick. It's like and just like a knife and then just blood. Oh, it's so it's so good. I want to say one thing about
it's just
glass breaks so easily in that movie. Like people just, like tap a window and just shatters.
Oh, definitely. Really quick, do you guys remember like the two eyes that you see right before like that scene where she's like looking out the window and then it's just like CGI eyes and she's like, and then, like, the whole thing happens. I love that moment more than anything. It's just they look like they don't look like people eyes, but she freaks out.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? You're on like the third story and there are just eyes in your window. It's like, oh yeah, man, that's cool.
Damn.
It's like, oh my god, the CGI on that man is so bad.
Anyways, coming from old Suspiria to new Suspiria, I'm gonna say a couple things, I guess. Actually really interested, like, what they did with Susie in the new movie. I like it a lot, I gotta say, because Susie was pretty boring in the old movie. The new Suspiria is very much framed in the idea, like, the Cold War is very much present in this movie. It was not present at all in OG Suspiria, so that was like a big tone thing that I wasn't expecting. They also they moved where the dance academy was, but that's to get that Cold War vibe.
Well, it's still, I mean, it was still in Germany.
Yeah, but it was not in the middle of Berlin, right next to the Berlin Wall.
Well, yes, definitely. I think that's basically anything in the original Suspiria is like the complete opposite. Like the kills in the original Suspiria are goofy. Like the deaths in this, I mean, I guess one of them isn't even a death because she's kept alive.
They're like zombies, I guess. I don't know.
They're basically kept alive.
Whatever life means in this movie, like the brutalization of the body. Okay. You can finish your thought, but I almost want to ask you guys if you found any of them beautiful. I know it's a loaded word, but I think that's a really important word to talk about with this.
Like any of the girls?
Wait, what do you?
No, like any of the death scenes or any of any of the like violence in the movie.
Oh.
The zombie at the end. I love that part. I love that part. Heads. It's so good. I love that part.
Beautiful.
But it's like,
so when the movie makes this, I forget what the fancy literary term is, but I'm just gonna say my dumb person term. But this movie makes a tie between the dancing and sort of the witchcraft, I guess. And like the whole there's a lot of like pagan imagery as well there. But the fact that they have these dances going around, like the dances are going on in one room and the murders are going on in another room, I think is actually quite interesting and something I'm glad that they explored. And I think that because of that, it can lend to this aspect of beauty that you were saying in these deaths. Or at least I think that's where you're going.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, this movie ties a lot of things together, which you can tell in its 2-hour 38-minute runtime, 31-minute. But one of the lines that I stuck with me and I felt like was a big like thesis point of the movie was when Madame Blanc says like dance can no longer be beautiful and it can no longer be happy. And it's not said explicitly, but it's implied that that's in reference to like post-war. That is the case of art. And that I felt like that was a really interesting sentiment, and that was a really interesting way to tie like the three major things going on in the movie together, which is like this like witchcraft and this like brutalness, like the art, the literal art of like dancing that's going on, and just the context of being in this post-war time where everyone feels guilt and confusion. And I felt like they did some really interesting things to show how those might or might not tie together constantly throughout the movie. And I think the death scenes and the death and the dancing happening at the same time is a really interesting example of that.
Yeah.
Yes. I think like I love the setting. I think it does a really I guess I love how it kind of the conflict between nations in like the Cold War also is somewhat reminiscent of the conflict between the witches within their coven, I guess. And how they're taking sides between Madame Blanc and Madame Marcos. And I don't know. I just love how this movie has so much more atmosphere than the original, because it actually takes time to develop its setting and do so much with it, which I really love about it.
Yeah. I think one thing that helps develop that atmosphere is the music. We got
Tom York
making the soundtrack
Tom
for the
York.
Suspiria album. Oh man,
Let's go.
Tom York actually like the soundtrack is I think is really fitting for the atmosphere of the movie.
I definitely do really like the soundtrack within the movie. It's interesting having like actual songs play at points, but it works really well.
I mean, Tom York's
I think
vocals like are like they made a correct choice when they had Tom York like create it with his vocals, because I don't think any other most of the performances could not really pull off the same sort of could not fit in as well, I'll say. Tom York, he's got that weird high-pitched ethereal voice and it works.
Yes.
I don't want to put you on blast, but Wesley, I feel like while we were watching the movie, you said you don't like the music or some of the music choices they made.
I don't remember saying that, but also I've been really strongly holding back the urge to call Brennan and Joe simps during that entire conversation. Which
Joe's the one who that has like 5 10s, so.
Whoa. Maybe 6. What?
But I guess I'll take advantage of this opportunity to talk a little bit about this cute little movie called Suspiria.
It's really adorable.
I had a lot of trouble processing this movie. So much happens in it, and it is so long. And I enjoyed a lot of it. Frankly, I'm a fan of witches and witch-related things, for those of y'all who are not aware of that. I think I'm wearing a raven skull necklace at this moment in time. Surprise, surprise. You touched on a really interesting point earlier, Jade, and that was the beauty in death. I don't feel like that was exactly what was being portrayed. I think like the most obvious example we can grab, I think what like at least like talking point that we can utilize for this is Olga's death scene. I could certainly see an argument being made for like this is like a beautiful thing, like they're like trying like because it's very elegant. Like the way it's executed is so interesting and creative and like but I really just feel like it was more of a juxtaposition between those two things, between the beauty of Susie's dance and the gratuitous what's that other word that's really good?
Pretzel. She got turned into a pretzel.
You pulled the words out of my mouth. I said that exact thing. Just like I want to say egregious, but like it was so violently drawn out. And I think it was very deliberate. I would actually go as far as say it was made very deliberately ugly. She pissed herself.
Like, halfway through the scene, oh, she's already dead. Like, man, going.
Yeah, no, like it was very. I disagree. I feel like I don't know what greater meaning to draw from that per se, but I definitely felt like they were trying to draw a juxtaposition rather than a like parallels per se.
Interesting. I mean, I definitely hear that on like So, okay. Here's the context I want to give. Like, Brendan, you've said you don't really like horror movies. Leslie, I don't know if you said it out loud, but you don't like horror movies from what I've heard.
I like horror movies. I just haven't watched a lot of them.
Oh, okay. JK. I love horror movies. I can watch them all day. I love like the gratuitous violence of them sometimes. Like the first scene in like the OG Suspiria, I was like giggling like a little baby. I loved that moment, but I also really like when horror movies do like flip the grid a little bit and decide to like make death interesting in a way that isn't like excessive in the way it usually is. And so I felt like there was so much interesting shit going on with like kind of just how they were killing people in this movie. And one thing I want to say on that is almost never have I seen specifically female characters get like brutalized in the way they do here, where it's brutal, it's upsetting, it's like sometimes a little crazy, like in the final scene, but it's never sexual. And I really, really like that about this movie. Like Olga's scene was like could not have been worse. I was silent for like 5 minutes the first time I watched this movie, and I've never like me and my friend who both love horror movies were just like sitting there like, what the actual fuck. Also, they cast the right person. That woman is a dancer. She was doing that shit, or like some of that shit in that scene. Good for them. But like, it's so rare to see this kind of violence occur, and especially occur in the way where it does, that it's like part of the movement of the piece. And I just really appreciate that the movie for that. Even though I think a case can be made for it not being beautiful. I think I definitely found it so, and just like how it was choreographed. And I think, at least in parts of the piece, that's part of the thesis. Like in the final scene, like after everything that happens, and after like people are literally exploding, like Dakota Johnson's final line there is like, "Yes, keep dancing. It's so, so beautiful." And then it smash cuts to the next day. But so I just find it really interesting that that's the line they choose to draw throughout this movie so consistently, especially with the Cold War background.
Mm.
I think I agree with a lot of what you said, but I'm just struggling to reconcile a few things. See, because not to be like symbolism, but and like not to pull up again such a unfortunate, not you know what I mean. But I just feel like the Olga's death scene would not have been nearly as impactful if she hadn't pissed herself. I feel like that would. I know
like that part could have been easily cut. That was just like I was just like, this is just...
And exactly. I think that's what I find so interesting about it. Is that like whenever something happens on any piece of media, it was a deliberate choice that was made. Like especially when you get into these super artsy films, like everything has meaning.
Yeah.
And this specifically, I feel like was intending to communicate to the audience that this is not elegant, this is not pretty, this is not something that you should like look upon with some sort of like oh, but death is like so elegant in such a way, and like oh, we disappear and that's so beautiful. I feel like that was like a signifier to the audience that like this is disgusting. That is something that like we as humans, more so than death arguably, find to be disgusting. I'd rather shoot myself than like admit that I ever use a bathroom.
Can I also argue that part of the point of it being so disgusting is partially because it's like towards the end when Susie Banion's character or whatever she reveals herself as Mother Suspiria, she's like cleansing the witches, and part of the reason I feel like you have the scene of Olga is like that's kind of like the corruption aspect of it. You have it similar, or because you see Olga again at the very end. She's kept alive by the witches.
Yeah.
And same with Pat. In order to be like a sacrifice to
the Marcos.
Marcos. I forget. It's like to basically like give her new life essentially, or like breathe life into her or something, right? Keep her alive longer, I think.
If I understood it right, and they get vague with like the magic in this, which personally I don't mind, but some people might. She was going to like inhabit Susie's body. Like she could, like her line was something like, "What's just like when I'm done with you, there'll be no more room for you. It will just be me." Like she was trying to like take Susie, and Susie was like, "No, this is my job." Where actually, I'm not exactly sure where the three other girls factor in on that one, though. Maybe they just needed some more brutality for it to work or something. The ritual doesn't get completed, so it's hard to tell.
Some sacrifices.
Well, yeah. I mean, part of it is that they need like the suffering of these girls in order to complete the ritual. And then like the cleansing at the end is because it's basically. Is getting rid of all of those who falsely like followed Marcos to like cause the suffering essentially upon these people and follow her as like a false prophet essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I like to some extent I like the girls are like not like innocence or anything, but it's like corruption, like them corrupting beings for their own personal gain.
Yeah, so one of the things I want to point out with this movie is the tie between, because so there's this struggle between the like corruption of like Marcos because she's a false mother or whatever, and Blanc, which is also paralleled with this hijacking situation in Germany at the time, where this plane was hijacked and the hijackers wanted the release of previous Nazi officers in exchange for the hostages. And in this parallel, like Marcos is the Nazi officer in prison, I guess. I think that's how the movie wants you to interpret it, because at the end, you know, the German state, I guess, is able to kill the hijackers and free the hostages, and the Nazi officers commit suicide in prison, and Susie comes in and kills all the treacherous witches as well. So there's that parallel there. I'm gonna come out and say it. I'm gonna start talking about things I don't like about this movie, because as I said before, I'm not into horror movies. I find a lot of the things that they do kind of boring and not interesting in the first place. So I don't like actually the Cold War backing and like the hijacking situation parallels. I don't think they add anything. I don't think anything with the Doctor adds anything. I mean, it's a great performance from Tilda Swinton, but like that's about it. It doesn't add any really mystery or intrigue to the movie, in my opinion, and it's just detracting time that we could be seeing witches doing cool things, I guess, or just keeping the movie short and sweet. I think that the atmosphere of like the Cold War, I think it's an interesting atmosphere. I much preferred. It's like very bleak though, and that there's obviously a point to that. But I preferred the more colorful use, the more colorful imagery in the first movie, and I think that actually was a much better contrast. I think that the amending that for the more, I guess, tone deaf color palette. I don't know if that's the right word, but the more just like bleak color palette was made this movie much less visually interesting, and the sort of parallels that the movie draws between the Cold War and like the whole witch thing I also didn't feel like added anything to the movie or its plot or its feel in general. And I feel like just a lot of time was wasted on it. So that's some of my problems with this movie coming out.
I completely disagree.
I'm sure you do.
I think the Cold War background excellently like accentuates like the situation with the witches. Again, the divide with the Berlin Wall, and like the like drab and dark atmosphere. I think works really well for the movie. It's exploring much darker, more interesting themes, and having a colorful like palette to those would completely miss the point of them and kind of ruin it. There's and like I know you said you don't think it's visually interesting, but there's so many like fantastic shots and sequences within the editing or the way that dance is portrayed, the way the atmosphere of the Cold War feels like it's constant. Like the diegetic stuff that's going on with the Cold War is constantly there. It's like it's like constantly bearing down on your like psyche throughout the movie. I think that adds a ton. And I love the doctor character. I think he's fantastic. He or she, he in the context of the movie. I think that, I guess to get more out of it, I'd have to watch it again. But for me, it was, you have like the end where Mother Suspiria comes to him and basically like talks to him about it, and I guess it's all like I guess like, or she says basically like, you know, we need like guilt and shame, but we don't need yours. And I think that's kind of that kind of tied in really well with her like cleansing the witches, where basically the point of them is not to feed off of people's guilt and shame who didn't do anything, if that makes sense. Like the doctor is innocent. His guilt about not being able to find his wife after World War II is not like what's the word for it? It's not like it's not like bad guilt or shame, if that makes sense.
No, I know what you're saying.
And so she's like, yeah, we're really sorry about that. We didn't mean I didn't want this to happen. And yeah, I don't know. I think all those aspects of the movie are like super interesting to me. And I also love, I will say my one problem with the movie is the editing is kind of inconsistent.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
think
there's really cool things on the editing. I was like, oh, I kind of hate the editing.
Oh,
my
God.
There's a lot of really cool editing parts of the
some scenes here and there, like the Olga death scene. I like the editing there, but there are other times where it's just like I don't.
Some of the cinematography just literally made me laugh out loud. I told this to Jade. There are so many moments where it was just like I felt like I was watching The Office. I felt like I was watching an Office parody. Like there'd be some shit going on and it's like super fucking creepy, and then it's like they turn into the gang of witch, and then they do the shaky cam zoom that The Office does, and I laugh my ass off every time. It's just so strange.
Wait, what? When did that happen?
They're very subtle moments, but every once in a while they just make a really weird choice where they like to zoom into people's faces super fast.
Oh, well, yeah, that's some. You said shaky cam zoom, and I'm like, what?
There was one where they did like a shaky cam like zoom on the group of witches. I believe it was during the scene with the police officers. When Susie stumbled upon them.
Oh, that?
Yeah,
so good. I love that scene.
Oh, that scene was great. But like it was so unsettling in like a really interesting way. And then they cap it off with the weird shaky cam thing, and I felt like it was like I was just like
Uh-oh.
so out of place to me.
We're back. I lost connection for a second, so I'm sorry.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Continue.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much my thoughts on that. I actually was pretty happy with the editing throughout, but it was just cinematography got to me like here and there. There's just some weird choices, but nothing like too problematic.
I think there's times where like quick in the opening scene, like the therapist scene, that one, there's like several. There's on the one hand, I do want to say the cutting was too quick, but on the other hand, I feel like that somewhat contributes to the scene feeling kind of unsettling.
Yeah, that's definitely what I got from it, especially because they cut to like objects in the room, and then like the one I remember is they like did a sudden cut to one of the books on the shelves. Then a second later, or like after a bit of conversation, Patricia sees it and just like freezes because there's like an eye on the cover and like. So, but I do agree there were some moments in it where that felt inconsistent, even though I don't have the vocabulary to talk on it.
There's one shot. There's the time when the girls are like seeing the witches out, like eating and like having fun, except they're actually having a conversation in their mind. And that scene I think is amazing and I love it. But there's like at the very end, there's like this one like zoom in on Susie's face that's really like there's just like these inconsistent parts where I'm like, why this feels weird. Or there's times where they use slow-mo. Where it just feels weird because the shutter speed is really slow, or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they're filming on film or something. I don't know much of the background of this movie, but the slow-mo is definitely weird. Although I will say, I think it works in the final scene where the demon is like fucking exploding heads. Because it's just like. I guess that in combination with Thumber's like music in that moment is like very. It feels like the demon's almost doing a dance, I guess, in a way. The way it's just kind of like walking around and it's just like you're bad. But yeah, like for me, the only real problems are the editing at points. Outside of that, like I loved this movie. Also the original Susie Bannon. What's her name? Jessica Harper. She plays the old man's. I forget that character's name. But she plays his wife. Yes.
No, she plays Anke. Aw, I never knew that. That's so good.
I was like, oh, she looks similar to like OG Susie Bannon. It was OG Susie Bannon. That's crazy. Banyan, I guess.
You know how I should have known the high forehead with that hairline. Like her hair hasn't changed since 1970s. God, what a beautiful woman. That's so crazy.
Man, I love that sequence too, where he's reuniting with his wife for the first time, and it's like really wonderful. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, the witches just tricked you, and they're kidnapping you now. It's a fantastic sequence. Yeah,
I loved watching Wesley's face through that sequence.
I'm pretty sure I laughed so hard.
Oh, you laughed at the end of it, but you really like I think you knew like it wasn't like.
I know the first thing I said was like, haha, witch magic.
Yeah, no, we
love witch illusions, but I still got invested.
Yeah, no, here's the deal. Yeah, you definitely like I could see you like be like, oh, this is bullshit. But then I saw you get like buy into it anyway. You were like, you like she puts his head on his shoulder, and you just kind of smile like, aw. But like even though of course it ends the way it does. Like I love, like, I think I wouldn't have cared for that if it wasn't just like such a startling cut. Like I think they executed how like brutally not what the situation is, but also just like I don't know, them coming at him screaming. I think that worked.
Click clack.
Click clack. I guess, are we wrapping up then, I assume?
I think. I'll start. I'm probably the most negative on this movie. Maybe, I don't know. Wesley's always like a wild card, so we'll see. But I like this movie. Sort of. It's like I like parts of this movie, I guess. I like bits. I like the Tom York soundtrack. That's good. But overall, I'm just not into horror movies in the first place. So for a horror movie, it was like, yeah, this is okay. I don't know. I'm at like a 5. I'm just not. I didn't really get invested in this movie, but there are like some cool things, I think. But overall, yeah.
Who's going next? Is Wesley going next? Or
I can, if you would like me to.
Sure.
All right. Today I'm going to be rolling a d12, and whatever that ends up being, that will be my score.
Jesus.
This movie.
Wow. Oof. That's the one that broke him. All right.
Wesley's embodiment of chaotic neutral.
Can you give me a nerd?
You actually just aren't chaotic neutral. You're just chaotic evil.
I'm just chaotic. Chaotic. I will say, I'm feeling a 7. I'm gonna feel a 7 this time. I think this is the most 7 movie I've ever felt. I'm a fan of artsy bullshit. I really am. Some things that most other people wouldn't tolerate, except Miss Anthropocene. You know what? Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
Artsy bullshit if it's just shit.
You know what? You're fucking right. It wasn't even that artsy. I'm fucking done with this. No, I'm still mad. You know what, motherfuckers? Fuck Miss Anthropocene. Grimes, I'm a disappointed parent. Stop dating that boy. He's bad for you.
Joe, are you okay?
Date Jade instead.
What?
Fuck you, Joe.
Oh, no, I'm really sorry. I'm rating the film on Letterboxd because I didn't rate it because I didn't want to spoil my rating. For Brendan, because Brendan follows me on Letterboxd, so I didn't want to.
Do I mean nothing to you? Also, that's so cute. You two follow each other. That's adorable.
Wow.
I'm feeling a 7 on this one.
Yeah, you should. It's actually
that sounds like a lot of fun.
website.
Okay, we'll talk about this after the podcast ends.
Right. I'm feeling a 7 on this one. I enjoy some artsy bullshit from time to time. It was a little egregious in a few places in terms of its like out there-ness, not like its gore or whatever you want to call it. Wasn't a lot of blood in this movie, all things considered. But yeah,
were you not there for the last scene? Are you kidding?
Okay, well, like, okay, I mean, like,
they put it all in one moment. I'll give.
Yeah,
no,
they. Funny. It was so ridiculous.
Very condensed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Yeah, I think it jumped the shark a handful of times. No, really jumped the shark at the end, and it was like a little hard to take the movie seriously. But I enjoyed it for a lot of reasons and in a lot of ways, if nothing more than for the choreography was very fucking impressive.
Wow.
See, literally sexy.
Yep.
I guess I'll go next. I guess I'll say psychological horror is like my genre. I love it. I like absolutely love this movie. The fucking Olga, not death, but like torture scene is like one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen. I love I don't know, this film is just so interesting, and I think there's so much you can like delve into and take out of it. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. I love it a lot. Wow.
Awesome. Yes. This movie means so much to me. So I love horror. I think I will for a little while now. But the things I don't like about horror get reconciled in this movie. And for that, I am grateful. But I also just literally enjoy every moment in this movie. I simply do. I think the casting was good. I do think the death in this movie is beautiful and respectful in a way that horror doesn't always do. And I say respectful in that it acknowledges death as death in a really interesting way. Not like oh, they kindly die. They brutally die, and that's also something I appreciate. In a movie with an all-female cast, they still aren't afraid to kill the woman, and I think that's really important and slept on. So in that regard, I even think this movie's feminist in a lot of really good ways. And man, I just enjoy it. I was curious if the second time through I'd be like, if it would detract anything for me, but it did not. Everything was still so fun and interesting for me, even when I saw it coming, even if I knew like where this was all going to be. I just still just enjoyed every moment. This movie means a lot to me. It's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Wow.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Yeah. I guess
So
that about does it for this week.
Yeah, so next week, I have to recommend an album. I don't know what to pick.
I can do both if you're not prepared.
Me and Brendan were discussing an album pick last week, actually.
What was?
Although it would be a bold choice.
Is it?
No.
You shouldn't pick this album.
You brought it up.
I did.
And
yeah. And I was like, wouldn't it be hilarious? And you were like, this would be terrible. We should never do this. And I was like, yeah, I know. I told you that.
Yeah. No.
What's the album?
Oh, let me tell you. You're gonna hang on. Let me find it.
No, Wesley, you need to tell me what the album is.
I know, Joe. Let me pull it up real
6
quick.
minutes long. I don't think we want it.
No, you want it. It's Carolyn Kahn stars This Is Underwhelming at Best 2019, featuring such hit tracks as I Shit Myself, I Pissed Myself, Dead Dad Date Night, Answered My Pussy, and the birthday song. 6 minutes.
We're not reviewing that next week.
Yeah, okay, we're not reviewing that.
I can pick both if you want.
There's some stuff that I'm thinking of, but I also kind of want to save it for album swap.
Have y'all reviewed OK Computer yet?
No, I don't think.
Well, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Do a Radiohead album?
Have y'all reviewed a Radiohead album yet?
I would rather not. I guess I'll say that.
Why? Do you not like Radiohead?
I like Radiohead, but I just don't think.
Do you love Radiohead?
No, I hate
Would you
Radiohead.
suck Tom York's... I'm gonna stop talking before I say something I regret. Or Brendan will have to edit out. He doesn't have to do that. He doesn't need to do that.
Alright.
I don't need to give him more work.
But would he?
Well, Joe,
We want answers.
how about this? I can do both this week, and you can do both next week.
Sure.
Okay. The album for next week is going to be The Pleasure Principle by Gary Newman, and the movie. Joe, do you want something cute or something not cute?
That's a very broad range of things.
I want
because
something cute.
You want
Could be like a terrible
Yeah.
movie. Whoa.
I want y'all to
You
have
could-
something not cute.
Okay,
I've never
fight,
considered
fight.
this.
Joe,
could
you're
be
the
like
deciding vote.
the Oogie Loves or some like terrible kids movie, but it could also be like a Miyazaki
Who does?
movie. So like,
Well, you would just have to take your chances.
Oh my god, we need to watch Kiki's Delivery Service.
you know what? I don't know. You said I'm
I have two.
Cute or not
I have
cute?
2 movies in mind. One is cute. One's not cute. I think. I haven't watched either.
how not cute is the not cute one?
I don't
Like,
know,
what
I
is
haven't
it?
seen
What are the movies?
This is so bullshit.
I gave you the choices.
Guys, I gotta go the fuck to sleep.
Okay, cute.
Okay, the movie will be Coco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that on? Wait, is that on Netflix or is that?
Netflix. It was last time I checked. It's been more than a month though. It might have been taken off. We will have to see. Anyways,
So it might be. Anyway.
we are
Cool.
about it. Any final words?
Thanks for having me.
It's
Yeah.
a pleasure.
You say that with
Dude.
so much like vehemence. I love it. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you so much for having both of us on.
Yes.
Truly, it's been a grand old time, as per usual.
Next time.
I mean, there
Yeah.
there was music and movies that made the cutting room floor, so maybe I'll pull those if I come back. And you guys will have to listen to things that I felt were worse than Miss Anthropocene.
I swear to God, if you do that one, I'm gonna be. I'm not showing up. Y'all can have fun.
I'm very interested
It's gonna be.
for the next time we have
It's
to
gonna
on the
be-
podcast.
It's gonna be angelic to the core, right? I would
Oh,
love
no,
for.
no.
It's gonna be okay, computer.
Yes.
It's gonna be the
Oh my God,
opposite of whatever y'all
please.
are thinking.
Oh, well, I can't wait. Anyways, that's about it. Thank you